So now we're ready for the second phase. We've laid the foundation of being in a good mindset and having the ideal mind setting. M moves through to E, E for entrance, through the gateways of all the senses. There are only 5 gates through which learning content may gain access to our minds. These are the 5 gateways of the senses. What we see, what we say, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we feel. These construct our sense of what is true, of what is real, of what is useful. At the entrance stage, we must take care of 2 important matters. Firstly, we may layer the senses. Secondly, the style we use to frame access to the information. Imagine one as the quantity of the doors the information can flow in through, and the other as the size of the frame. This means there are only 2 key words you need to remember during this phase: format and frame. Format, or formatting, is the number of senses we use to get our message over the threshold, and frame or framing is the way we communicate our content. You may have heard this phrase, it's not the jokes folks, it's the way you tell them. So format is the structure of the joke. Framing is the way you tell the joke. So let's deal with the format first, the senses. This is so exciting. The more senses you use to convey your content, the more it literally makes sense. If you use sight, sound, touch, taste and scent, the learning will make sense. If you use only one of those sensory channels, the learning may be perceived literally as nonsense to those learners who do not share your chosen delivery style as their primary sensory input style. So let me expand. You will naturally use all of your senses to make sense of any new opportunity or to make sense of any new learning. However, you will also have a favourite sense. For many people, this is either the sense of sight or the sense of touch. If seeing is your preferred first choice for learning as a trainer, you also will then have the tendency naturally to show people how to do things using lots of visuals. It works for you, so you give it to others. This is fine for those learners who share your preference, but hard for others whose first choice for learning is hands-on or listening. This means that the more ways you teach, the more learners you will reach. We must deliberately choose to think about how we can convey content visually, sonically, and ideally physically. Layering is the key word for formatting your learning content. How can you make it visually rich? How can you enhance the sound content? Can you get them to do something, to have a truly hands-on experience? Whilst it's rarely possible to add the senses of scent and taste, we can easily build learning that includes sight, sound and touch. This has been so well known for many thousands of years that it's found expression in a really good ancient Chinese proverb that says, I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. I do, I understand. Socially and technologically, this is so important that it caused the song lyric, "Video killed the radio star," to resonate with many of us. It's also why graphical user interfaces such as Windows have had a far more positive impact than using lines of text or lines of code. So pause, reflect and ask yourself, what can I show them? What sound bites can I use to make my point? What can I ask them to do? For inspiration, think of adverts that provoked you to action. Well, that's the format. What about the frame? For the purpose of training, design and delivery, we need to recognise that some learners are extroverted and some are more introverted. This means that some need to obtain information in an environment where they can discuss and talk freely, and others learn best where the opportunity to reflect quietly works for them. Both these sides of the frame need to be built into our delivery. We must make ourselves available for clarification of concepts and issues. We must also allow time and space for reflection, for the students who integrate new concepts in this quieter way. Two other sides of the frame are also important: thinking and feeling. Some learners are real thinkers. They like the facts. They like your credentials. They like the detail. Others are feelers, which simply means that their relationship to the material and their relationship to the trainer are more important in their integration than the details. This leads us to realise that educators must come across as professional and yet approachable. We must build both the relationship with the learners and also credibility by going into sufficient depth. Practically, if we provide means for discussion and reflection, and if we provide both detail and respect for what the learners believe they want and value, we will keep most of the people happy most of the time.